What's up and welcome back to the show. Today we're talking about call out culture. Yes, I said that right. I didn't say cancel culture. I said call out culture. Call out culture might be my new thing. I'm pretty sure that I just started this right now. Either way, call out culture is basically calling out people in the fitness industry for their lies and their deceit. Now there's a couple ways that call out culture is very prevalent in the fitness industry. Number one, we have our natty or not callouts, and number two, we have our Photoshop callouts. Now, comparing both of those, now are they necessary? They do have their place in the fitness industry for sure. The only difference between the two is when you're doing call out culture for those who are doing natty or nots, it's not always black and white. It's most of the time speculation, and then there's obviously times where it's quite damn obvious. Now, when it comes to Photoshop call-out culture, now there's just plain evidence right there. There is complete, utter evidence that this person manipulated their photos to sell something to you. And they should be held accountable. They should 100% held accountable. Those who are caught should be definitely held accountable for being called out for their photoshopping, and those who might even just admit to being on steroids when they say they aren't should definitely be held accountable. But I also think, now here's my opinion, guys, and let me know what you think about this. When we post stuff on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, there is a process where YouTube, Instagram will actually, the algorithm will see keywords or key things done. They'll find a part in your video that shouldn't be in there, a word you said that's flagged. There's something that's there that the algorithm can actually find before things are actually published. Now for me, and maybe you guys can agree, I think that now when it comes to natty or nots, you really can't have an algorithm sit there and be like, because in the end, it'd be speculating just as much as the person doing natty or nots in the first place. Remember, natty or nots are pure speculation. Regardless if the person's on or not, and it's completely obvious, it's still speculation, is not truths. Having a Photoshop picture and you get zoomed in like your boy Goob you, John Dorsey, and you look in there and you see, oh look, that obviously is a curved in wall or a curved in door or a chair. That's a fact. You can actually take the photos and you can actually get the actual raw photos that would actually show you that the photo has been edited. Now, I think for anything, because let me tell you this, when I went to put out a ad for one of my shirts last year, it flagged me and said that what I might be putting out, this is on Instagram, what I might be putting out might be misleading to XYZ. I'm pretty sure I literally still have these shirts pending for an ad post I want to do paid ad for this for my shirts last year. And I got a warning, I got to basically said that I couldn't post it because this ad might be against guidelines, blah, 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 and misleading to your audience. Now, if it can pull that from obviously not misleading anything, then I think Instagram and YouTube or all the platforms, when they have fitness channels. So if you have a fitness channel and you're speaking about fitness and you're speaking about health and nutrition, all those things, and you post a picture, the algorithm 100% can tell a tampered picture. And I think that YouTube, Instagram, all those platforms should flag those pictures and give them the same warning that I got. Or not even warning, the same reason why my post couldn't be posted. Your picture can be misleading to blah, 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 blah. Sorry, we can't post this picture, and you can no longer post it. I think it's a fairly easy solution if the platforms would take accountability in that way, because again, instead of telling people they can't do certain things or silencing them X, Y, and Z, if you got a picture you're about to post that's got a bunch of words under there that's like, you shouldn't have to do this and don't look at others for your progress and focus on you and I don't know, whatever it is. And then when they go through the process, they can flag the butt that's being taped up this way, the big shoulders and the guy that's enhanced this way, and they can be like, oh, sorry, can't post this because the message you're sending doesn't match the picture that's with it. Very simple, what I think. What do you guys think? Do you think that the platform should put some type of AI in there that can flag tampered pictures, Photoshop pictures? Do you think? I think they should. When it comes to call out culture, there are the good and bads about this. Now, the difference between call out culture and cancel culture are these things. Call out culture is being like, yo, dude, you're lying. You ain't natural, or, hey, check it out. That picture is a lie. That's call out culture. Cancel culture is basically hearing something that you don't like hearing and you can't handle it and it offends you of some sort. And then you wind up with a bunch of buddies and you do this whole basically like this pitchfork mob mentality and go rush over to someone and try and cancel whatever they're doing because you didn't like what they said. My advice for those type of people is don't watch it. Go away, right? Just so we have an understanding that I am not saying that cancel culture and call culture are the same, because they are not. They are not. Cancel culture is trying to cancel somebody for speaking their mind about something and they just don't like what they hear. Call culture is holding people accountable for lying. Here are the pros and cons of call culture. Number one, it promotes honesty and transparency easily. If these things were put in place where you can't mislead people, it's going to have more transparency, more honesty, more trust. No more of these cringy feelings you get when you hear influencer. You hear the word influencer, and all of a sudden you're triggered. You're like, and you've been lied to by somebody or whatever it is. It creates transparency and honesty. Number two, it sets unbelievably realistic expectations. Obviously, is one of the biggest things. It's letting people know that what is actually achievable for that person. Now, when it comes down to it, regardless if somebody's just photoshopping something or if they are taking steroids and they're saying they're natural, it doesn't really matter what they do. What matters is what you do. What they're doing and how they're lying isn't going to stop you from reaching your goals. But I definitely understand how people have these expectations because someone just tilting their picture this way, tilting their butt that way, taking steroids and saying they're not, and saying, this is me working on all my hard work and this is me natural. And I can see that that's an issue for sure. It's going to help set real expectations, especially for those young women who it's affecting even more, because guess what? I got a daughter and she's already on social media. Not like that, but she's on YouTube Kids and whatever. So she's already been exposed to the unrealistic expectations of a girl. I mean, every princess that she watches, and trust me, I tried so hard to divert her from watching a princess, but dang it, Disney. Y'all are good. Number three, consumer protection. We don't have any if we can thwart all these, if we can put a halt to all these photoshopped images from all these big time celebrities or influencers that are trying to sell you this and say, hey, if you wear this, if you do my training program, if you eat this diet, if you wear these X, Y, and Z, you're gonna have this good looking body. And then all of a sudden, oh, it's a lie. It's actually not doing anything. It's actually Photoshop, steroids, and right. It's gonna protect the consumers from you wasting your money. It's gonna protect those consumers who are eating bull balls for a few years thinking that they're gonna look like Liver King. I'm sorry to bring that name up. I'm sorry I gotta do that, because what he's going through, trust me guys, I get empathy for that guy. He's lost his eye. It sucks. But I gotta make an example. And this to be the easiest example because I think it's the only one in history that we have of somebody being caught for being a natty, or for being a fake natty, and then admitting it, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, number four, health awareness, right? If influencers are secretly relying on PEDs while preaching natural methods, they're potentially leading their followers down a dangerous road. The more transparency we have for people who are actually on steroids, right? Think about this. Think about the people who are natty or not, the natty or not group, and the ones who are actually lying. And they're only doing, say, like a minimal, like, let's just say they're doing, like, they got a great, let's just say they look great. It's hard to tell if they're on anything, and you find they're doing, like, minimal of whatever. Wouldn't you want to know? Like, it's like, hey, look, this influencer that's lying about whatever is actually on this and looks really good. So for the person that's like, hey, I want to achieve this, maybe possibly can, they only do what that influencer might be doing. But what happens when no one's saying anything is that person goes on the steroid cycle that they think that they're on to achieve the physique that person has, and all of a sudden they're left with a bunch of health issues. Steroid abuse, body dysmorphia, ED, all the things. You know, the call-out culture brings awareness, brings health awareness. And then your ethical responsibilities. I have a responsibility because the way I look and what I know. Because of how I look and what I know, I can mislead anybody who doesn't look like I do or know what I know. I can sell them a bunch of lies. I can tell them that I'm on this unbelievable diet and the secret is ketchup and pepper on my whatever has made my stomach, has shredded all the fat off my stomach because the ketchup is low in calories and the pepper increases my overall body temperature, and that's why my stomach looks the way it does at age 40. You get the point, right? It's our responsibility, those who have that influential power, that star power, that subscriber size or follower size power, it is their responsibility to be accountable because what they know can help people, or not say anything can hurt people. Now, what is the bad? What's the bad from this? We gotta look at the bad. Number one, the bad, right? Privacy invasion, right? I get it. People get accused, and this is so more so in terms of like I would say the natty or not, because it's such speculation. You have privacy being invaded, but at this point, some people are like, I don't care. I'm not getting bamboozled again. Sorry about that, right? Potential for mistakes. That's a bad thing. And for again, it can happen. It 100% can happen in the Photoshop picture, and it can happen for someone who's a natty or not. Calling that person out that actually didn't do anything, or that person calling that other person out, making a mistake, will lead to a bunch of crap for that person. Their reputation, your reputation is done to that fact. Because again, if people believe speculation, it doesn't really matter if it's true or not. They're going to believe what they want to believe. Now, it can lead to harassment, and that is the thing that 100% can happen. There's one thing to call somebody out, but there's another thing to bully them after they've been called out. And here's what I mean. Goob does the Lord's work when it comes to calling people out. He does, because he gets facts. He's got a nice lawyer background, all the good stuff, and he has facts. And let's just say someone calls out, Liver King, right? Liver King and natty or not. When they've been called out and when they've been found guilty, going over to their profile and leaving nasty remarks and threats and all those things, that is where you've lost the whole purpose of this. The purpose is to bring people to being honest, not to bully them and to make them an outcast. Those people need to do what they need to do and come to terms and be honest. But it's not on us to call the person out, but then to bully them after. And then mental health. Mental health is a big thing. Being constantly under fire. Like, there's a lot of influences that happens to being constantly, every time you do a video, in the comment section, someone's saying, you're a liar, you're this, you're that. Regardless if you're innocent or not, that's gonna wear and tear at the person's mental for sure. 100%. From bullying, from the constant bickering or comments, or being forced to speak up and say something, leads to a lot of mental health issues. And number 5, last one, you get a misplaced focus. We get too hung up on calling the person out rather than just doing our own thing, focusing on the athletes who aren't lying, focusing on the influencers who are putting out good information. That needs to be the focus, not the other way around. And it has its place, call those people out 100%, but if we start making that the main focus of the industry, we start losing our focus on what's important. Honestly, when it comes down to it, I think it's good that people in the fitness community want to hold those with influence and power accountable. My question is, are you holding yourself just as accountable? Guys, the tragedy is that people lie. And in this industry, lying can lead to more money. I promise you, if you hold yourself just as accountable to your goals as you do to those who might be lying and deceiving others, I guarantee you'll be too busy working on yourself to even care. Work on you, and the background noise gets a lot quieter. Hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.